Hi, this is Merlin. Today I'm just gonna talk about what I learned today. The so I'm just gonna talk about the background of it. So the problem was, wait, hold on. I think there's something here. Here, oh yeah. So we are trying to make some kind of like authentication process. Our server engineer already did it. So, but the problem was the main problem was we are using cookie. So it's social authentication, but rather than calling an API, I have to redirect to some kind of specific URL for it. That and I have to after looking, I have to go back to our client, uh, our our client page. But the problem is if it's like calling an API, it's kind of easy, but redirect is kind of hard. In order, the hard thing is that the cookie and the course issue, CORS issue, because I'm so typically we're using localhost. So the problem of localhost is we have different domain. We have localhost domain, and our domain is not match as localhost domain, and there will be course CORS issue, and there will be cookie issue. So so how we manage this kind of thing. So the first approach was using Next.js rewrite. So Next.js rewrite is just basically, so there's just such a thing on Next.js rewrite. So Next.js rewrite basically is transformed das API, some kind of your prefix of API, into your domain API, server domain. So where you are. And but a lot of people really misunderstand that the Next.js rewrite is not proxy. It's not server. It's just changing. It's just redirecting your client into server. But that is not. So how we did it was actually so of course you're not gonna work. So my next strategy is using this kind of proxy thing. If you look here, we're just gonna call like API login, and this API proxy sends redirects to the server URL of it. It's a like for proxy. And when API get it for proxy, it sends it back into auth token, and API proxy we just refine the auth token and we send it back to here. And so that is so this is how I really did it. So I just set the API proxy, but like in the Next.js, there's something as a middleware before. The middleware is just like the server that before client give a request of it, and when it responds rather than client hit on the responses, the middleware is work as an API proxy of it. So there's right. And another problem was the encoding URL. So I already underestimated that encoding URL thing. So I have to, like example, we have to change into our base URL. So what I mean base URL is if my current domain is our frontend server is like our frontend.com, the base URL is going to our frontend.com, and also like some kind of like dashboard of it. So the reason why I have to do it is because I have to put the query parameter on the next here. So so I just put this kind of HTTPS our frontend.com and this one here, and the problem was it breaks because I have to re-encoding this kind of stuff, and I use encoding URL component, and it started didn't work. So how I redid it was so rather than using encoding like component URL, I just put this kind of URL encoding URL into the middleware server, because the reason why encoding is gonna happen because you have to open it in your browser, but middleware is the server, so you don't have to think about the encoding thing. So I'm just gonna call this kind of URL, but empty in the server, and the server can redirect in the clients. So that's the process we did. And the interesting what I learned was this kind of encoding URL thing and the middleware thing. Actually, I already have like little background of like proxy thing, because there's so many thing processing, because I'm a student, I'm still learning thing. I'm just turning 22, so there's no there I had no really big knowledge of CS like networking, but that's really interesting part of it. So this is it. I have a nice day and see you next time. Bye bye.